What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 58 of the Last Cycle Heart podcast, and we're doing a little something different this episode. I have a guest on. This guy has been wanting to be on the podcast for a while now. I've been wanting him on this podcast for a while. I love people's passions. I want to learn more about this guy and how passionate he is about film. He is a film major. Just input that. His name is Levi Smith. So everybody, put your hands together for Levi Smith.
Glehart podcast. You are listening to the Last Glehart. You are listening to the Last Glehart podcast.
All right, what's up, man?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Dude, pretty great, man. Finally being able to get you on this podcast after how long now?
Exactly. It's been months, bro. I've been asking this guy for so long because he's always talking about his podcast and everything, and I'm a fan, and I've really just been wanting to get on here and say some things just because I love this man. I love what he does, and I know that we're passionate about kind of a lot of the same things, media driven things. We kind of have the same mindset in that regard. We're very passionate about the things we love to do. So I definitely wanted to just get on here and talk with you, man.
Oh, for sure. And look, you know that I don't really have guests much, so that's probably why it's been a while. I'm very bad about saying no to people, for sure, because as soon as I started this podcast and I had my first guest on here, it was just out of randomness. Everybody was like, "Oh man, I really want to be on your podcast and stuff," and I'm like, I don't do it all the time. It's like hard to get on the same time and everything.
Exactly. I mean, it's hard to schedule things, and that's totally fair. I mean, with whenever somebody says, "Hey, I have a podcast," or "Hey, I do this thing that's like media driven and everything," it's all like kind of people want a piece of it. They're all like, "Oh, this is really, really cool. I'd love to be on there as well." And it's totally fair, to not really be able to schedule as much just because you're around a bunch of college students who are also very busy, and you're very busy doing your own thing. But that's really fair. I mean, for me, I'll have people sometimes ask me, "Hey man, can I be in a movie? You could write me into your next script." And I'm all like, haha, I don't know. You have to actually you got to be good at acting. We would, there's a lot more to it than just like, yeah, come on. It's not a big deal.
It's very hard to say no.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not gonna say no to not having people on the podcast. I think what I'm now wanting to do with it is just basically people have passions. I love people's passions. I love hearing about what people like to do in their free time or spare time, or just what they really just enjoy doing. And so you really love film. Yeah. And so I just wanted to get you on here to be able to kind of get this ball rolling and
Absolutely.
just kind of talk about yourself. And you just made a movie.
Yeah,
so
man.
I mean, I was like,
Yeah,
amazing movie, by the way.
Yeah.
I watched that the other day, and
Thank
so
you, man.
that's kind of so. When did you even get into film?
That's a great question, man. All right, guys, my name's Levi. It's good to meet y'all. You can kind of see I like my name. I like wearing my brand is what I call it.
Oh yes, sir.
But my name's Levi. I grew up in Arkansas. And I always sort of was passionate about telling stories. I was always kind of passionate about kind of getting things out there for people. I always loved YouTube. I always loved those kind of media-driven things and ways to tell stories. So we started a YouTube channel with my friends, back when we were just living in our own little neighborhood there, and we were just making little bitty short, silly videos and everything. But we never really stopped, It was just like we would make them here and there. Not all of it's available to watch now, just because a lot of it's really cringy. But we just kept making those, and I never really wanted to stop. I never had the desires to stop, and I kind of kept making videos here and there on my phone. And eventually it got to the point where I had the opportunity to go to college and do school for it. So just recently graduated with a film degree, and right now it's been a few months now. School's starting back up for other people, not for me though, because I've already graduated. So now I'm just into the real world and trying to make it, man.
Hey, don't worry. This is where I help you out in the real world area. I lasted a month in college, so
man,
that's where we met.
That's where we met.
That's where we met.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into film, and I was like, oh. Actually, I didn't even know if I really wanted to get into film. It was just like, okay, cool. I edited some stuff, and I was like, you know what? COVID happened. I might as well just try the college route.
Exactly.
And then I found you at church, and you invited me to go onto one of your like sets.
One of the sets. Yeah.
What movie was that again?
That was called The Hat Man, and that was my horror film that I made for my film production 2 class. And really, what that was sort of a way to test my abilities. I kind of wrote the script. It was probably about a 5-page script or so, which for those of you who don't make movies is not a very long script. Usually, they teach us in film school that per 1 page of script equals 1 minute of film. So I was thinking, oh yeah, this will probably be like a 5-minute movie or something. I stretched it out in the edit as much as I could, and I barely got like 3 minutes and 30 seconds out of the thing. So it's a very, very short movie. But it was, it had a lot of stuff that I like to do in there. It had characters that I liked to write. I got to kind of hone my writing skills a little bit more. It had some visual effects in there that I really like to do. You know, I'm a big VFX guy. I really like things that are kind of larger than life and can't really happen, so you have to do them digitally. I love doing that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what the Hat Man served as. And then after we got done with that, that was the FP2 assignment. FP3 and 4 would be when we make our final capstone films. And that would have been the one that you watched. That would have been Double Trouble. So Hat Man was a fun experience. I don't know about for you because we were on there pretty late. I mean, I remember Dawson came up to me at one point and he was like, "Man, I still got to drive home. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I gotta get out of here."
Well, I'll be honest. I think that set made me realize that maybe film may not be for me.
Well, it's not for everyone, and that's totally fair. It's not for everyone, and it's really just it is pretty specific. You know, you do have to be pretty specifically wanting to do that. And it's not like podcasting. Like you said, podcasting is a lot different. He said this off screen. Podcasting is a lot different than filmmaking. And there's just a lot of different things that go into it. So, man, if I was able to help you, realize that you wanted to do other media type stuff and you wanted to do, comedy, and that was what you were really more passionate about, man, more power to you for sure.
Oh, for sure. Well, the thing is I always wanted to do stand up.
Absolutely.
But the thing is like I felt pressure to go into college because I did not want to just flip patties for the rest of my life. Or
that makes
just
sense.
have like some minimum wage job and just, I don't know, be in the college ministry and just I always feel awkward in the college ministry when people ask me, "Oh, what degree do you have?" And I'm like, "Well, I dropped out." And it's like I'm like going to be that 40-year-old guy that's still going to be repping the college merch.
Man,
and
you should have just went with it and be all like, I got a degree in comedy, and they'll be all like, "Oh, they offer that at this school," and you're like, "No."
well, actually, at that point, I wouldn't even said no. I just kept it going if they believed that.
Yeah, man.
Look, if they had a degree plan for comedy, I would completely go and do that because that is actually would be an awesome thing, just comedy school in general.
I think, is that a degree somewhere? Because I think I've looked it up before. I could have sworn I saw that there was a comedy degree like somewhere.
What,
wasn't
DeVry?
very big. Say again?
DeVry University
Could
or something?
be. Man, I don't know. I'm no comedian myself. I love the kind of stuff you guys do. I love you guys' dedication for it. But I think I looked it up a while back just because I was really curious. I was like, is comedy a degree anywhere? Is that something you can actually study and go do? For some reason, it sounds really familiar that there was like.
Well, you know what?
That's
why we got Google here.
That's why we got Google. Yeah.
So,
Are there comedy degrees anywhere in the U.S.? No, but I do admire the passion and everything for it, and I do think that I would enjoy it for a moment, but it's just not really something I'm cut out for overall. I really like more things that I can fine tune and edit and work on for like 2 or 3 months before anybody sees them. So that's why I think I got into filmmaking.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, actually, fine arts and film. So
fine arts and film.
That's
shows
one
up.
of the degree plans.
Yeah.
I think it's just basically fine arts and comedy.
Okay. So you can study it. There are places you can study it.
You can study it, but it's more of like I guess taking like a creative writing class or stuff like that.
A lot of the arts degrees and a lot of the so if we do something like a drama degree or we do a film degree and something in fine arts like that, a lot of it is so subjective that you can kind of teach the class in any way that you would want to, I'd assume. Again, I've never taken a comedy class, but I have taken drama classes, and I have taken the filmmaking classes where the teacher can be really, it's all like, this is all about what you want to do. This is all about how you interpret these things. And, that's why kind of people with more creative mindsets and everything tend to, be less, I would say, confined to one specific solution. If you're taking an analytical class, like a math class or a science class, you're going to have a lot of ways to solve problems, but you're usually going to get one solution. But with something like comedy or drama or filmmaking, it's always going to be about like, how can you interpret this in the way that you want to? How can you make something new? And that's really what I love about kind of the field that we're in.
Oh, for sure. And that's the thing is, of course, what I really love to do and stuff like that doesn't have like that perfect degree plan or that perfect little thing where you're like, all right, cool, I'm going to go do this. Here's some classes for it.
Yeah.
And then boom, send you on your way.
Exactly.
Comedy is one of those things where I just don't think a lot of comics like to, admit that they're learning from each other.
Yeah.
And it's more of like a cutthroat game.
Yeah.
To them, like you walk in there and you say some jokes or whatever. And if you absolutely do amazing compared to another person that goes up,
yeah.
or if someone goes up and they kill and then you don't do so good, then automatically you're like, okay, he's an enemy.
Yeah.
That's what it feels
Yeah.
like. And when I first started getting into comedy, that's what I started stumbling with is
Exactly.
like, I walked in there, I was like, okay, cool. I'm by myself. It's a cutthroat scene. I'm going to have to go in there, make a name for myself, and then like hopefully get some respect and then just see where things go.
Where that goes, yeah.
But I'm so happy now that like what ended up happening is that Austin did not work out because I went there I graduated high school, went there with full intentions of I listened to Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
I had this whole plan and this prediction that he was going to go down there and make a comedy club and just blow up the comedy scene down there, which he has.
What does he do? Yeah.
He has.
Yeah,
but the thing is though is COVID really like destroyed that whole like dream for me in that time.
Yeah. And that's why I think God opened these new doors for you and was able to kind of, get you in a place where you can have a community that you love for a while, get you back like on your feet, like 100%. And then you start this podcast and everything, and you continue doing that. And you just kind of continue honing your skills so that whenever this other door does open that you're about to go through, you're well prepared for it, man. And God will work in that way sometimes,
Oh, dude, he works in crazy ways for sure. Like, exactly. I mean, I didn't think comedy was going to be still in my life.
It's such a different, it's such a different field. It's such a different field that I don't think, I don't know any other comedians than you, I don't know any other comedians than you, but it's so cool that I do know you. And that's just one of the, unique things, about you. And, I'd like to think that people kind of think the same thing about me, whenever I tell them kind of the fields that I'm in and everything. But you just don't meet a lot of comedians, dude. You just don't.
Honestly, I wanted to do an open mic here in Conway.
Yeah.
That's what I really wanted to do. But like, I couldn't find enough people to be like, okay, I want to get on
with it.
Yeah. Well, or just I want to get on stage and just tell some jokes. I would try to convince
fair.
people. I'm like, hey, it's not that bad. Just go up on stage, just try it out, and we'll just see where it goes.
Well, it's so intimidating, for people. And I used to, for whatever reason, when I was growing up in school, I did do 2 years of theater. But throughout that entire time of those 2 years of theater, I had stage fright. It was the weirdest thing ever. And now I don't mind getting on stage and talking to people. I don't think I would mind doing a one stand-up act. I just know that it's probably not something I'm cut out to do long term. But it would be crazy if that actually could happen. Maybe somebody at someday will like come up and try and like make that happen. For now though, Arkansas, not too big for comedy, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure not. That's why God's blessed me with the opportunity to go to Phoenix for sure. He was like, hey, you got to get out of here, dude.
Exactly.
It is boring in this state.
I'm with you.
But that's why, like, for example, like film though is correlating to comedy in the sense that a lot of comedians do acting.
Yeah.
I don't really ever see myself in the acting role though. I did Do you know who John Cobb is?
I do now. Yes.
Okay. So
yes, I love that
name
guy.
dropped.
I love that guy.
But no, so shout out to him. He does amazing stuff at UCA.
My man's
in the
awesome.
film as well. And he asked me to be in one of his little short films, and I was like, dude. It sounded like he wrote that script just for me.
Really?
And then he just called me up and he was like, hey, I need a long-haired, skinny kid.
I need a long-haired, skinny kid. Basically, I wrote you into the script.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I wrote you with in mind, and I expected you to say yes.
Well, yeah, man. I saw John does great work. I want to work with him so bad. Me and Brett both. Brett is my partner in filmmaking, and we both really want to work with him. He does really, really great work. But you know, it's filmmaking here in Arkansas is growing. You know, it's a growing community, and it is starting to kind of ramp up a little bit. And me and Brett have been trying to, you know, on the cusp of after we graduated, made our own movies and everything, got those into film festivals. We've kind of been trying to sort of show off Arkansas as like a nice place to film, a nice place to make movies, so that those people in LA or those people in Georgia will see it and be all like, hey, this is a kind of a pretty place that's like cheap to film at. We should go there and make stuff so that we don't have to, you know, spend as much money on making movies, but we're still making quality content. And if we can do that, you know, if we can draw some eyes to Arkansas, you know, it may start, who knows, the film industry here may start booming, and we will be like blessed to have been a part of that.
Well, wouldn't you say the biggest problem with filming in Arkansas is you don't know if you're on private property or not?
That would be part of the case. Honestly.
If some guy comes out with a shotgun,
you can't do much about it if you're on his property, man. That's just what's gonna that can happen.
Have you
so
ever ran
often
into
in
that?
Arkansas. Say again.
Have you ever ran into that?
Not when I was filming. I did have somebody. This was back when I was a kid. Again, I told you when I grew up in a pretty safe neighborhood, and for the most part, but we would always like go down to the creek as kids and everything. And I think I ended up one time we went down way past where we normally go. And there was this, I think we were behind a farm or something. We started seeing cows and everything. And then this guy just comes out. He goes, "You guys are trespassing. You guys are trespassing." And we as kids were all like, "What does that mean?" And then he said, "You're breaking the law. You need to get off my property." And we were all like, "Okay, we'll go back." So it's a very real concern, you know, for people in Arkansas, especially if you haven't cleared that and gotten that location. So that's why whenever we go and do location scouting in Arkansas, we're always pretty safe about where we've looked and who we've asked about it.
Yeah, because that's what I feel like is the biggest issue, is because even being on film sets with John or anybody else, it's like, what do you have to do to, like, do you have to just go ask them, and then do you have to get a permit?
You don't have to get a permit in Arkansas, just because most of the time you don't have to get a permit in Arkansas unless you want to like shut down a street or something. You know, you'd have to talk to the cops about that for sure. But if you just want to film on somebody's property, you just ask them. You just ask them, and you're just like, you know, like, "Hey, I'm shooting this film. Can we shoot here? Is that chill?" And most of the time, people are pretty cool about it, you know, one way or another. Some people are like, "No, I'm not too comfortable with that." Most people are just like, "Heck yeah, man, come on." Not a big deal. For Brett's film that we did, The Lucid Cure, he made the attempt. He lives in Fayetteville, so a bigger city than Conway, a little bit bigger than Little Rock. But Fayetteville has a lot of really great locations, and he got this like really small chapel, really beautiful inside, and we got to film in there. And all he did was ask the people who owned it, and they were totally chill with it. They say it's been in the family for a long time, totally fine with it. And that film is really, really beautiful because of it, just because of the locations we got.
So how do you feel about all these YouTubers that just go film and they don't even ask?
Man, you know, I gotta be honest. Like they're doing what they can for content, but they could be doing it in a better way. You know, they could be doing it in a better way. They could be doing it with more, you know, by asking permission and everything. The thing is, though, there's that like daredevil energy that you get from the videos. They're just like, "Oh, they're not supposed to be here right now." You know, like when they go stay overnight in a Walmart or something like that. Like, really, you know, do you have to do that?
I just feel bad for that one guy that's like stocking shelves.
Exactly.
And they're like unload the toilet paper, and there's just like 3
they're
guys
just-
like, oh,
And they're just hanging out like, oh, was the store closed? We didn't know.
No, I'm so sorry.
No, yeah, and that's really there's an aspect where you do have to start being professional, or there are going to be consequences for it. But anybody in the filmmaking scene and anybody who actually wants to make it in the filmmaking scene is going to ask for permission. There's no way we can't, because if we didn't ask for permission and things like that, you build up a reputation pretty quick of like, oh, these people are just doing this, whenever they darn well please, and it just wouldn't be ideal for a filmmaker to do something like that. So people on YouTube, they need to be careful, and they need to understand that there might be consequences.
Dude, who knows? Like, I mean,
keeping it real.
Well, they're the biggest consequence, especially if all the beautiful areas in Arkansas would be the guy that comes out with his shotgun.
With the shotgun.
That would definitely. That's the biggest thing about filming around here. People are not so.
They're not
kind.
super nice if you're messing with their property. As long as you keep to yourself, it's all right. But people in Arkansas are notoriously very proud of where they live, and they would not hesitate to let you know that you are where they live.
Yeah, do not mess with the natural state.
For sure. That's for sure, man.
Exactly. Don't. The only thing that's more natural is their bloodlines.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
here.
Absolutely.
That's the natural state.
Yeah, man. No, but that's why, the stuff that I do on YouTube is a lot of the time something that I've had time to hone, and that's not, I don't do very public videos very often, because that's just kind of a line that I don't normally try and toe. So I'll do work on YouTube that's a lot more to myself and work for people and do freelance stuff. It's been great. It's so much fun.
Oh, for sure, dude. That's awesome. But a little bit more about Double Trouble. I watched that.
Yeah, man.
And it was a short film about, what was it, 15
about
minutes?
15 minutes.
About 15
yeah.
minutes. I watched it the other day, and I'll be honest, did you do all the graphics?
I did.
Graphic effects?
Well, so here, let me just give a bit of context. Double Trouble is my capstone film, like I would talked about. We do FP2, where we have a smaller film, and then we do FP3 and 4, where we plan, direct, and shoot our final film for college. So this was my final film, my magnum opus. This is what people are going to see. What did Levi Smith go to college for? Okay, well, he made this movie. So I was trying to think, what kind of movie can I make? What kind of movie do I want to make? I was thinking, I sort of want to make a movie that shows off all of my talents and also sort of my talents as a director. So what can I do? How can I gather a bunch of people together that can make a really cool film and get them to work together in a way that works? So Double Trouble is about 2 teenagers named Alex and Lewis who stay overnight in an arcade. We were talking about how people hang out in a Walmart overnight. These 2 kids hide in the bathroom of an old arcade overnight.
Trespassing?
Yeah, basically. No, yeah, but they stay overnight in an arcade and they hide from the staff, and then they got the arcade to themselves, having a great time. Then they get sucked into a video game. So then it starts getting weird, and it starts getting kind of into that whole larger than life stuff that I like to make. I love to make fantasy, but really, whether or not they get out of that game, you'll have to watch the movie and find out.
Oh, for sure.
But it's a fun film, and it's really cool. It's got a lot of like Dawson was saying, graphics and visual effects and everything. Again, that's the kind of stuff that I like to make. And there is a 4-minute animated scene where they're in the video game. I happen to be involved again with my freelance work and the things that I do on YouTube. I'm involved with a bunch of people who are animators that know how to animate in that way, as well as myself. I do a good bit of it as well for my work. So we all just kind of collaborated, and I would commission people basically to make parts of this animated scene, so that whenever we put it all together, it just comes to a concise scene of a larger movie. And so we would shoot the live action parts on set at the arcade that we found in Arkansas, and then the animated stuff we didn't even have to worry about at all on set, and that was all post-production, editing, and sound design, things like that.
That is awesome. My question is there was a lot of digital effects
in
the mix of there. I am curious about how many hours you put in to making those digital effects. Because I was like, I don't even know what the process is, because the only editing that I do is little minute, like little podcast stuff, and like it's easy, maybe some color grading.
I'm with you.
But when it comes to like editing like that, how many hours?
Well, I got to be honest, I didn't calculate them, but I can give you a rough estimate. Really, it comes down to you have editing in general, so that's just all cutting everything together. So we cut all of the live action scenes together. We do the dialogue there, sync up the audio, all that good stuff from when we were on set. And then you've got your animated scene, which that was just like in progress months beforehand anyways. It had to be so that we could get it finished on time. I knew that, I had it storyboarded out like 5-6 months before we even started shooting the film, just so that I could get it to those animators and they can start animating to it. So we had that going a few months beforehand. There were some visual effects in there, in and out of the game, like when they're, well, I don't want to spoil it, but whenever they happen to get sucked into the game, there are some flashy things that occur. Those probably took like, 2-3 hours per shot. Really, it's not extremely long. Mainly what was more time consuming was how long just getting everything put in a timeline was, because it was just like, I have this scene here beforehand, then they're in the video game. I don't have this scene done yet, so it's not finished. So there's finished animation, there's unfinished animation, and there's finished animation again after it. So it just started getting really convoluted, and I was just like, okay, I just need to make sure that everything in this timeline is finished whenever I actually upload it. And it was just really me watching over that 15 minutes that was over and over just to make sure everything's finalized, color grade was finalized, and I don't know, man. We were working on it for months. We were working on it for like a good solid 3 months before it all came together.
I love to hear that.
It was a grind.
Because in this generation, you don't really hear a lot about people just grinding out stuff.
Man,
it's people love being handed stuff, and so and so I love, like, that's part of the reason of just having people on this podcast is to just I see that you're putting in the work, dude. I watched that thing. I was absolutely amazed. I felt like I was legit watching like a Steven Spielberg. Well, man. Like, I could see something huge in the future. Well, plus, also, like, I don't want to ruin like the movie at all. People who ruin movies, like my friend, like I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I bet you have a lot of opinions about people who ruin movies.
I've got a few bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Father's Day. I remember it like it was yesterday because it's just Father's Day 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was gonna go see the new Star Wars. The one where Han Solo died. And so, right before I went and saw the movie, I called my friend up and I told him what I was doing. I was like, hey, I'm going to go with my mom and my stepdad. We're going to go watch the new Star Wars movie. And those things are long.
They are. Yeah.
They're enormously long. And then right before he ended the call, he goes, Han Solo dies. Man. And then he just clicked and I was like, okay, all right. So I just sat there the whole entire movie waiting for
Han Solo to die.
I wished it happened in the beginning. I really did, but
you can get it over with.
Exactly. Man. So I can enjoy the rest of it.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
How do you feel about people who just
spoil movies?
Yes.
Man, here's one of the tidbits about me. This is an interesting. I like to say cool bug fact. This is a cool bug fact about me. There's I'm the worst ever at getting spoiled for things. For some reason, spoilers find me. Nobody tells me them. I'm people don't tell me them. I just happen to be on YouTube or whatever, and I'll just see like, boom, Han Solo dying. Oh, Han Solo dying in the new movie. And like for Marvel movies, I can't watch a Marvel movie blind to save my life. Whenever Endgame came out, I was so careful. And I had literally video blockers on YouTube just to make sure that I didn't see any of those spoilers. And still, right before, I didn't get a huge spoiler, but I did get like a picture of Hulk wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. And it was just there. And I was just like, okay, well, I guess Hulk wears the Infinity Gauntlet in there, but I just didn't want to know a single thing about the movie, and I had such a hard time avoiding spoilers. People who do it though, man, I don't know. They're just looking for that shock value. They want to ruin it for everybody else, I suppose.
Well, I mean, my friend was about to get the shock value of his life when he was about to find out that he is now not one less friend. Yeah, has one less friend in his life.
Great.
Yeah, and it's over a movie that I didn't really even care
Serves
about.
him right.
Exactly. No, seriously. No, he was about to have to write a whole, an apology.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
maybe you'll get a letter in the mail someday about, hey, I'm so sorry that I spoiled that movie for you.
Oh no, I still tease him about it. I can't. Man.
I'm with you.
But or we're gonna get is this spoiling it? Talking about like the. I guess
we can talk about
we
it.
can cut this out if you.
No. Go ahead.
Well, because it left in kind of a cliffhanger.
It left a kind of cliffhanger.
So
I will say that. Yeah, it does leave on a cliffhanger. That doesn't spoil anything.
Well, I'm asking is, are we gonna get a part 2?
Are you going to get a part 2? What you're going to get is me being cautiously optimistic that a studio sees this and says, Levi, this movie's great. Let's make a TV show out of it, or let's make a big feature film out of it. That's what I am looking to do. I'm not looking to make another 15, 20-minute short film about the same characters. There's just like Double Trouble Part 2, Triple Threat, or Quad Squad. I've got those lined up. The sequels, Triple Threat, sequel to that's Quad Squad.
Are you start making comics?
Man, I would really like to make some kind of a series or something.
Dude, I got some merch ideas.
Yeah, do ya?
Oh, dude, I got some merch.
We'll have to go over that.
I'm telling you, dude, if you had a comic book and you started
it would
selling
be a fun comic book.
Oh yeah, and just the whole movie just in a comic book, that would be great advertising.
It would be fun. Yeah, it would be really fun. And I mean, it is what it is right now. It's out there for the world to see. And I've still been entering it into film festivals and everything. I entered into about 12 film festivals. 12. So far, we've won 3 of them.
You won?
We have won 3 of them.
You taking home the gold?
We're taking home a trophy and a laurel. Yes. So we've gotten awards for 3 film festivals so far. One of them was the film festival here in Central Arkansas, and it was for the school that I go to. And one of them was in Colorado. So we got an award for that one, and we also got an award for the Fort Smith Film Festival, which I think hasn't happened yet. They actually emailed me early and saying we got an award just to make sure I had plans to be there at the award ceremony. But we got 3 awards so far, and we're just hoping for more people to be able to see it, and hoping for that a couple of important people see it, so that we can kind of get the ball rolling on the future of what that project might look like.
Pardon the interruption. You have now arrived at halftime of episode 58. I encourage you to please like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, share with your family. Follow me on social medias. All the links are in the descriptions. Email me, whatever it may be, or you just might have to get up. Go get some food, go get some drink, go use the bathroom. You currently about have 5 more seconds until episode 58 resumes. 5, 4, 3, 2, resume it. That's awesome. Well, I mean, that leads right into what I am. Okay, so have I told you about Crumble Cookie, about my experience with them?
No, I don't believe so. What's up?
Okay, so when I was in Phoenix, I made a little Instagram story.
Yeah.
And I basically tagged them in it, and I said when a group of girls gets a batch of Crumble Cookies.
Yeah.
And I started dancing really, goofy or whatever, and I tagged them in it. Well, they DM'd me
a
laughing face.
Oh, man.
And a heart. And so I was like, well, since I made you laugh, do I get a discount?
Oh, boy.
And so they sent me a discount for a batch of Crumble Cookies.
That's awesome.
And so I'm trying to get a group of people together, and I am wanting to go to the Crumble Cookie here in Conway and make a video, a hype advertisement kind of sort of thing, and just basically tag it as when Crumble Cookie gives you a discount.
A discount.
And we just go in there and we ball out on Crumble Cookie.
Would they be cool with it? Would the Conway Crumble Cookie be cool with that?
That's what I'm gonna have to ask.
You'd have to ask. Yeah.
Yes. Or
hopefully the managers chill.
Or just trespass.
Yeah. We could trespass as well.
Yeah,
that works fine.
I'm telling you.
Since that seems to be a trend this podcast.
Seriously, just walk it. That's my thing. I'm not the stuff that I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do public stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy, but it's
you're
nothing where I
good.
have to ask
No. It's fun. Public stuff can be really fun as long as you're respectful.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
for sure. But if you go with a group of people with a camera into a crumble cookie, I mean,
We'll see.
you have to let them know.
Well, how about this? What if we all went in there and we all gave them business? We all bought some crumble cookies.
Well, that's what I was going to use that discount.
Yeah.
And then I was actually going to buy more to kind of entice it more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking, I was going to like ball out on some crumble cookies.
That's what's up, man. That sounds fun.
Because I want them as a sponsor.
Yeah, you do.
I don't have a sponsor on this podcast yet, and I want crumble cookie to be
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Crumble Cookies. Not actual, but
I don't.
maybe eventually.
Well, I think it would be awesome because like I looked at my YouTube analytics the other day, and I found out that I have a very strong male audience.
Yeah, gotcha.
And so there's I want there to be more females to like that would listen or watch my podcast. And I really think that Crumble Cookie as a sponsor.
Crumble Cookie would bring some eyes.
Amp that up.
It would bring some eyes. That's for sure.
It would. All the girls would be like, "Oh, Crumble Cookie got you."
Man, if they shared it on Twitter or something, bro, to the moon.
Dude, for sure.
To the moon.
Dude,
people love Crumble Cookies. It's good.
They do, and they come out with new flavors, do
Yeah, they
reviews.
do.
That's what I'm saying. Like I could do a review for their advertising.
Yeah, you could.
For the advertising portion.
If ever there's an opportunity like that, you need to try and seize it. Brett right now is making a G Fuel ad. They didn't ask him to. They did not ask him to. But he is great at editing. He's great at filmmaking. He can do visual effects, kind of like I can. And he is making right now like a YouTube short type thing. And it's based on G Fuel. He's got some visual effects in there and everything. I won't say too much because maybe you'll see it, but. He's just randomly doing an ad for them, and he's gonna like DM it to them and see what happens. They may use it.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's people on YouTube that do that.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, hey, they just randomly go into a business and they're like, oh, hey, can we make an advertisement for you? And they're like,
And then they'll do it.
yeah, it's like
They'll let 'em
sick.
do
It
it.
gives them free promotion, but it also promotes the person who edits it.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh man, this guy could edit really well.
Yeah, exactly.
I want him to.
him to do more stuff for me.
For us.
It's a
great strategy.
It's all about marketing. It's all about kind of publicity and that good clout, that you can get from just kind of helping out another business or some kind of other company.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what are we? Let's see here. Yeah, man. If you ever want to do that, hit me up.
I'm planning to do that before I go to Phoenix.
Literally hit me up.
Before I go off to Phoenix, I got like a week and a half.
I will do what I can to be there. I can't make any promises right now, but I'm so down for something like that.
Oh, definitely. So like you're out of college now.
I'm out of college, yeah.
So what are your plans?
My plans right now are for about a year to continue living in Conway and continue just like marketing myself, marketing the film. So that we keep that momentum there. Working on the other film that me and Brett are making right now, in Fayetteville, and doing my freelance work just so that I can still be, good with my YouTube community. And I also work at a storage facility here in Conway. So it's
storage.
Yeah, storage.
Yes,
that's what's up, man.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
Get them as a sponsor.
Maybe get them as a sponsor as well. Them and Crumble Cookies.
Yeah,
and we're good to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking. I would make the best advertisement if you can combine U Storage and Crumble Cookie together.
You got the best of both worlds there. You need a storage unit, you're good. You need a cookie, you're good.
And if you get all those discounts, you're gonna have to have somewhere to store those Crumble Cookies.
Exactly, man.
And
exactly.
no better place than U Storage.
You'll have endless storage for all your cookie boxes that you'll have as overflow in your house. No, yeah. I work at the storage place in Conway as well. So it's very sustainable, kind of what I'm doing right now. I can do my freelance work, but I'm not relying only on that for income. I can do my storage work, but I'm not only relying on that, for work, so that I can also have a creative outlet. Right now, God's really blessing me with just kind of a period of sustainability and a period of me being able to both fund my passions and make money and can continue to live in Conway here for a little while. So I have no idea what it's all undetermined what may happen in about a year or so, really. But for now, it's Conway.
Well, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, probably still in Arkansas, but probably working more closely with the studio in Arkansas. Again, the film industry is growing here. and it will probably blow up, just based on how cheap it is here to film and how easy it is to find good locations. But I do see myself continuing to be in Arkansas. If I happen to, have a gig in Hollywood, let's just say, if I happen to have a gig in Hollywood, we could, I'd probably just fly out there and do it for a little bit and then come back. I'm not going to actually live probably in Hollywood, Los Angeles. I'm not cut out for like a big city, and so I would be really just working more closely, and I would probably continue doing my freelance stuff, animation stuff. Really just depends on what the industry does here and kind of where it goes.
You killed that question. I hate that question so much. Like, what do you see
5 years?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well,
did you practice that in the mirror? Do you have that written down
so
somewhere?
a lot of some people ask me that, and really, it's gotten to be a huge point of peace in my life right now. You ask me about girls, that's one thing. No point of peace right now, right there, because I have no clue what's going to happen there. I don't know what the Lord's got for me there.
Dude,
but
hey,
as far as
dude, I'm telling you,
man, we got to rub.
Hey, dude, we'll start a dating app, bro.
That's what's up. We started a dating app as well, along with comedy, crumble cookies, used storage, and filmmaking, and then we're good to go.
Exactly.
No, but it's really been for me. That's become a point of peace. I've started thanking God a lot more and kind of understanding like I'm not in a bad spot right now, and even if I had to stay in this spot for a while, what do I have? I have a church community. I have my friends right now that I'm really close with. I have my passion that I can continuously work on and work towards daily with my freelance work on the YouTube channel. I have a job that is sustainable, that is also with a company right now that is in a good spot and is growing, and will probably continue to grow. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's where do I see myself in 5 years? I mean, even if it's here, I'm still going to be happy,
Well, there you have it, ladies. Right here. This guy is content. He's on the market. He's got a short film that's about to blow up.
I hope it's gonna do well, man.
I mean, this dude's about to run Arkansas with film. He's about to blow this thing out of the water.
Well, we really hope that the industry continues to grow like we think it will, and we really hope that people see our stuff and like it. That's at the end of the day. You, me, both, we're entertainers, and we just really want to get our stuff out there the best way that we can and market ourselves. And, it's really up to whoever sees it, and if we get lucky, and if people are able to see our stuff and like it,
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's awesome. That's a really awesome way to look on things. And
yeah.
Once again, ladies, you can trespass his DMs at any time.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, again, trespassing is becoming kind of a trend here. We're good to go there in that regard. But with the future used to be such a big point of anxiety for me. Huge point of anxiety.
Dude, it's with anybody.
Yeah.
I've noticed that when I went on Jensen, that even people who are in college, I didn't really realize this much. People even who are in college getting a certain degree, they still don't even know what they want to do.
Yeah. And the issue I think with kids our age and maybe even kids in high school is that we really have a hard time thinking like, I have to have everything figured out when I'm 18 because that's when I'm an actual adult. No, I have to have everything figured out when I'm 21 because then, drinking age. Oh, yeah, we're good. We're totally an adult now. No, you're not going to ever have everything figured out at all. There are when adults, I feel like when adults stop being anxious is when they understand, hey, we're all in this world together. We don't really know kind of what's going on. I have no idea what's going on right now. All I know is that we got to make it work where we are. And we got to make it work where we're going. So I feel like, ever since I've kind of learned that, and I don't have everything figured out. Obviously, I'm not trying to say that this is just like something that comes from me. No, I have talked to so many adults that have just really mentioned like, you're never going to have everything together. You're never going to have everything figured out. You're never going to just make it, but you can make it work. So if you're if you're struggling with those kinds of anxieties, I feel you. I've been there, but it's you really just got to make it work. You got to find what you're passionate about. You got to latch onto that and continue pursuing that daily if you can. And it's that's probably the best advice I could give everybody that loves to do something, has something that they love to do. You know?
Well, I mean, I talked about this in my last episode. Shout out episode 57. But I basically talked about the same thing that you just mentioned. Is like I feel like society just pins you into like thinking that you have to have everything figured out by your time you're in your 20s.
That's
like I see all these kids getting married when they're like 20, 22.
22, yeah.
It's flooded my Facebook page.
I know.
Just constantly. And it's just like, I feel like that I don't know why people are just trying to push, like you have to grow up so fast.
It's tough, yeah.
And like you don't realize that you have the whole rest of your life ahead of you.
Exactly.
And it's okay to fail.
It's okay.
Like a lot of people just don't, I don't know. I've talked to so many teachers, and I've talked to just even 40-year-olds that are just like, they look back at their life and they're like, man, I wish I would have done this differently. And I do not want to be like that. I do not want to be 50 and then go, you know what? I didn't go, try to stand up. I didn't go and try to go do that. And I have this desire in my heart for a reason. And the same thing with you in film. It's like, I can see the same thing. It's like,
we're going to make it happen.
Yes.
That's what it is.
One way or another. Look, even if like, for example, if I go to Phoenix, completely fall flat on my face again,
you're gonna have another open door, bro.
Well, God's gonna provide. Number one,
man.
I'm gonna have faith in that. And
man.
Number two, it's like I tried.
Yeah, exactly.
That's legit all I can do, and that's all I could say is like, hey, I
totally tried for this.
Yeah, I went and tried comedy. And it didn't work out, but guess what? God provided, and He has had another open door.
And I mean, if that's what your testimony comes to be, that's totally fair. But man, you have such a presence. You have such a presence about yourself that I've told this guy off screen many times that I don't fear for his future at all. Really, I don't fear for his. Whenever he is going to Phoenix, whenever he is nervous about meeting new people and everything, I don't fear for you, man. Just because I feel like you have the personality to be able to be dropped somewhere and make it work. Because that's just what I've learned about you, man. And you're able to make it work, and you're able to meet new people, and people love having you around. But not to get too emotional, but
wow. Now you can see why I had him on my podcast. I had him on this episode.
Just to talk this guy up.
Yeah, dude. He's been talking me up the whole episode. That's why I knew this is exactly what was going to happen. So yeah.
All planned, predetermined.
You're just like filling in for where I needed just a little bit more hype and motivation, man, for sure. But
that's what's up, man.
No, hey, I appreciate it, dude. Like that means a lot.
Yeah. Well, we as creators really need to understand when somebody's doing well, and we need to be able to affirm that, because filmmaking's not easy. And comedy's not easy. Getting up on stage, having a routine and everything, that's not easy. But if you can just make one person smile, and if you can just have one person say, hey, I really enjoyed that thing that you did, it makes it all worth it, right?
I really do feel that in this time and age, or this day and age, there's a very big lack of encouragement. Big lack of encouragement with anything.
Exactly.
I feel like that a lot of people want to be encouraged, like they're like, okay, I'm doing this. And like anybody wants to be encouraged, of course.
Yeah.
But then I've noticed this with myself also. It's like, I also have a very, side of me that I'm not very intentional a lot of times, and I lack intentionality.
Yeah.
But a lot of the things that I want, I don't reciprocate, like such as encouraging. I've noticed about myself that I'm just not as encouraging as I should be or I want to be. And it was just kind of one of my convictions that I've had, just through reading and Acts and stuff like that. How Paul went and he was like encouraging the churches, and encouraging the nations and stuff like that. I don't know, something about that just kind of convicted me. I was like, man, like, I would like this type of encouragement, but am I doing that, in my own life kind of thing? And I think that if people just encourage each other a lot more, it would just, maybe those people would be more willing to go try something that they've always wanted to try, or, just honestly, it just made the people a lot more happy.
Yeah, it would.
The world would go round better.
Yeah, people really can surprise themselves in the things that they're talented in. What they may not know that they can do. For example, with filmmaking in particular, whenever you need somebody to act, and whenever you ask for somebody to act, a lot of the times, you'll get people say, "Well, I've never acted before. I'm not an actor," and we always say that's fine. That's totally fine. That's what a director is for, and that's why I'm here to be able to help you through that, I'm not saying the people who worked on Double Trouble were non-actors. They were certainly actors. But I have worked with non-actors before, and they have always done a great job. It's really just, you can really surprise yourself with kind of how good of a performance you might be able to give, just as long as you have that person there to keep you going and kind of direct you in the correct way. It's... a lot of people are very talented and may just not know it,
Oh, for sure. Like, have you ever gotten like a hateful YouTube comment?
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah,
Like,
people...
tell me about that, like, experience.
So I will, and this is actually kind of funny that you brought this up. I made I'm an animator. Hi. I made an animation. It was just a little short, probably 2-minute at most animation, back in 2016, 2017. It was a animation of Godzilla fighting Barney the dinosaur. Barney the dinosaur won. Just because Barney would win, obviously, right? You know this. Barney's got the power of imagination, man.
I'm putting my money on him.
Yeah, I'm putting my money on Barney too. Barney totally destroys Godzilla in this animation. And I was all like, "Oh, this is funny. People think this is funny." And I put it up, and people rallied behind Godzilla, man. They were mad. They were so mad that Godzilla lost. And I still to this day get comments on there like, "F you, Godzilla would win." And it's just all like, why are you so? And I personally think it's funny. I think it's funny if people think if people take that seriously.
But that's like honestly, I would take that as a cheerful, hateful comment.
Oh, it's awesome.
Because like you twisted the ending because Godzilla is supposed to be this dominating whatever, and then Barney beats him up.
Yeah, Barney beats him. And it's funny. And the main thing is it just kind of shows, like, if you're really getting that upset about a YouTube video and you're really gonna trash my style of animation just because you don't agree with something that I made, I thank you for the view, honestly. Like, thanks for watching my video that's like 7 years old. I don't even expect anybody else to watch this, but yet I still get hate comments and I still get comments on it about it. So yeah, thanks for watching, basically, is what I say to those kinds of comments.
Exactly. And one, it's the same thing with me, is like, I just do a podcast.
Yeah.
And so whenever I started putting my podcast out there, like on Instagram Reels, or I started like trying to market a little bit more, I started to get a little bit more views. And with those views, especially with YouTube Shorts, YouTube Shorts, now that YouTube took away the dislike things and they kind of like whatever, people are so much more willing to just go to the comments straight up and just like say something hateful.
Well, people
then vanish.
Yeah, people got it. I totally encourage, any kind of opinions one way or another. Sometimes criticism for me is valid. Like with an animation, if somebody doesn't like it and they actually genuinely want to tell me why that is, I will try and take that point of criticism into account. Now, if it's somebody just saw like, this sucks, you're silly, LOL, or whatever, and it's, that just rolls off the back. But some people actually have okay intentions with it and just like, hey, this didn't work for me. We had to, with the freelance stuff that I do on the YouTube channel that I work for, we had a lot of people. We have a very supportive community, but we have a subset of that community that is, they're kids and they're angry if something happens that they don't really like. So they'll try some styles for it. But there's also people with legitimate concerns like, hey, this doesn't look as great as the other videos that you guys have made. What's going on? And so that's something that we try to address on our team. And that's something that we try to take into account and work on. So I think all comments, all feedback, at the end of the day, it all helps push us further in the algorithm, really.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too, is like if someone takes time out of their day to make a comment, I mean, they're just taking their time out of their day to either good or bad. And I feel like, honestly, if you're obviously doing something good if you have some hate.
Yeah, man.
Because like that's what I basically boiled it down to. Because I've had people comment. What was one of my favorite ones? I kind of wanted to start a wall.
That'd be fun.
But like I don't keep them up there for long because most of the time people are cussing. I just don't.
You can blur them out.
Well, I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't keep them in my YouTube comments, or I don't keep them mostly because it's like, I don't want other people seeing that or whatever. It's not like I don't really care about what you say, but it's more just aspect of like, why did you have to go to that extent?
That's fair.
But one of them was it was delete this podcast. It is completely crap.
Man.
And I'm like, all right, well, you know what? Thank you, I guess. I'll take that and just keep moving on with it because, obviously.
If people really are going to, take the time to write a comment on something that you made, it means that they care in some way. It means that they care about because they've watched your video. Like they watched it and they had an opinion on it. It means in some way they cared to take the time to, one thing, watch the video, develop the opinion that they don't really like it, and then care enough to write a comment about it, So if you kind of look at it that way, just ignore the trolls, within reason when you can. It's just kind of part of the gig when you're a creator, especially on some place like YouTube where anybody can be behind a screen.
No, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
And they don't even, they make up a name, put like a little fake profile picture.
It's probably it always gives me a bunch of comfort to realize a lot of those hate comments are like 11-year-old children. It's a lot of them are just kids that have been in a Call of Duty lobby and heard a bunch of 4-letter words and learned this thing that makes their tongue feel a little spicy. So then they commented on a YouTube video.
Well, the thing is though, is like if it's an 11-year-old kid, man, they are learning these things younger and younger.
Call of Duty lobbies, man. They're playing Fortnite with a bunch of other kids that talking the same way, dude.
Oh, I remember Modern Warfare 2.
Man,
do you remember those lobbies?
Oh, dude, they were crazy.
I mean, cruel. I mean,
but that's the way the crow flies. Whenever again, anybody can be behind a microphone and they can say whatever they want, without getting a ban, put on them. So, It just really depends. Really, if you just kind of ignore those and it's and you get used to them, it's something I've never really had a problem with. Whenever I was first starting out and I wasn't as good as I am now as far as animation, my quality has just sort of increased as I have grown, just because I've just been doing it for longer. So I feel like I'm a bit more experienced now. So with that comes me understanding what I've made and that I believe the stuff that I make is quality, and I believe that it's good. So if a few people don't like it, I still always have a bunch of supportive comments that tell me, hey, this is great. You need to make more stuff like this. I still have a bunch of those supportive comments, and those keep me going.
Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I mean, I always encourage people to let me know if they don't like my content or if they have something that's a problem with it, or if they could recommend something or whatever. I'm very open with that because I don't want to keep on posting stuff and then people are not liking it. But I mean, nothing's happened right now, so I mean, I guess I'm just gonna keep on doing what I'm doing, bro.
Keep doing it, bro. Keep investing into this because I think this is something that's worth investing in. I really do.
Hey, same for you, dude. I mean, also the thing is I want to invest in a dope Halloween costume. That's what I wanted, and that's another thing I wanted to ask you was because I know you're the king of Halloween, and you have like these planned in a year in advance.
It has been said.
Together.
It has been
and
said.
And then all of a sudden you go all out. What were you last year?
So last year I was our awesome president Joe Biden. And I was him for Halloween. It was so much fun. I've made a tradition, that I dress up as the president for Halloween. And not necessarily just for Halloween, but if I had an excuse to. I remember in high school, I thought it was just hilarious. It was in freshman year. Donald Trump was a candidate. He wasn't actually president at this time. He was just a candidate. I thought it was hilarious that he was running for president. I was just all like, I need to I need to be Donald Trump for America Monday for Spirit Week at school, because it just came out of nowhere. And I won first place just because it was a funny little gag. And I was going around doing a Donald Trump impression all day. So then when he won the presidency, I was like, well, I guess he has to come back this year for high school. So it just became a tradition in high school that I would come as the president to either America Monday or Spirit Week or something like that. And then whenever Joe Biden got into office, I was like, well, now I need to be Joe Biden, obviously, because I have to continue my president's trend. So last year I was Joe Biden. The year before that, I was Heath Ledger's Joker. And I'm told I was very scary. I am told that
you looked very scary.
I am told I was very, very scary, going around and asking people if, they wanted to know how I got the scars and everything. And, I had a ball though. It was so much fun. Year before that, unfortunately, I was Thanos. The Thanos one is the one that we don't talk about, just because with Thanos, I mean, I guess the costume looked okay, but man, I had like this big latex mask on, and I just couldn't breathe at all or anything. It was just not an ideal Halloween. But that's after being Thanos, I was like, oh, I need to come back with a vengeance this year and do something that's really cool. And that's why I decided to be Heath Ledger's Joker next year. This year, I've got plans as well. So you're not gonna unveil. Well, or the thing is, people watch your podcast that go to the church, so I can't.
I know we're not gonna do no spoiler.
I am required to not say. But if you want to make a community post on YouTube or whatever, if I send you the pictures of what I am, you could certainly do that if people happen to be curious, and then they can go around the October.
Hey, don't worry. You're gonna have to send me photos of your previous ones, and I will put them up on the podcast.
I'd love to
let the people enjoy those. But
I enjoy Halloween so much. It's really all about acting. It's all about kind of being able to be that other character there. I love doing voices. I love doing impressions and everything. And if you're able to do that for a night and it be chill, I'm totally down to do it. So I always go hard for Halloween, especially if there's some kind of like party or get together going on.
Oh, for sure. I also feel like that it's a great for just I don't know, I guess just, do you feel like that you're just pushing yourself to the limit just to see you develop yourself into that character?
I like to try and top myself if I can. I like to try and top myself. I like to do somebody that I can hopefully do their voice really well for, which is why Thanos was a massive failure. But if I'm able to kind of act and I'm able to show off both acting and a really, really cool costume, I've won the night, and it's one of the coolest nights I can have,
Yeah.
So that's really kind of where my motivation comes from for those. Also, since I work with actors so often anyways, if I ever get the opportunity to act, I lose it just because it's so much fun.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm really pumped for this Halloween. I don't really know what I want to do.
Are you coming back to visit?
Huh?
Are you coming back to visit for that Halloween?
Maybe. I don't know about the Halloween. I'll be down for probably.
It would be
Thanksgiving,
dope.
It would be,
Yeah.
but I feel like this is too soon because by the time I leave, it would be the beginning of September.
What if you just showed up in a costume and nobody knew who you were the whole time, and then at the end there's this big dramatic reveal?
Well, look, I was really called out for how thin I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I feel like going as the cockroach from the Men in Black.
That's fair. Let's do that.
Yes, I was called that, so I feel like that would be a very great intro.
Exactly.
I wanted to get 5 people together. 5 skinny guys dressed up as the cockroaches from Men in Black.
I'm a skinny guy.
I'm telling you. You want to be a cockroach?
Look, if I didn't already have plans, I'd be so down. But
dude, I'm telling you, it would be great. And then every time someone goes through the door, we would go, "What's up?
What's up?"
And just like that. And I'll have like a little coffee mug.
Exactly.
It'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I don't know. I've never really have been the dress up kind of guy for Halloween. I just can't get an idea down usually. Or I usually want to do a group thing.
I'm with you.
I told, I don't think you were there for that conversation. Blake and I were talking about we were trying to think of a different Thursday to do for second college, and we were going to dress up as different versions of Tom Cruise.
Really?
That's
would
the
be
idea.
Fun.
I thought that would be I want to do Scientology Tom Cruise.
What if we did one for Harrison Ford? And it's just just a bunch of Harrison Ford characters.
And that would be great as well.
We got Indy, we got freaking Han Solo, we've got who else does Harrison Ford play? I know he plays other people. I just But like you have all any Harrison Ford character there. You could have that as well. That'd be fun. That'd be
for
really
sure.
fun. But yeah, Halloween goes hard for me, man. It's a fun night always, and I always try to have a good time that night one way or another. If I can make people happy, I'm all about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Cool. That's really awesome. Well, I mean, wow. I mean, we've been going at it for over an hour now.
We've blown through that time, that we had slotted.
Oh no, for sure, dude.
Really our main the main thing that I'm about though, and I think people have sort of been able to figure this out. It's all about like, what can I create? What can I make? How can I make people happy? And where do I go from here? I'm not extremely stressed about the future. I try my best to do what I can to make myself happy, satisfy my passion, and then also at the same time just entertain other people, and make them happy along with me. Happy to see the things that I create. But you and me, we're just a couple of creators that are trying to make it. And really part of the reason why I did want to be on this podcast was just because I feel like we're similar in a lot of ways, and that we kind of have the same kinds of things from a different side of the coin,
Oh, for sure. It's just passions in general. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's just, I always love to talk to somebody about what they really enjoy doing, because I'm very, very, very passionate about stand-up. I can talk about that for hours, and you can talk about film and stuff for hours.
Exactly.
And it's just one of those things where when I just know that someone has another passion about something, it's like I would just love to learn more about it. So I am more than happy to open this podcast up and have another person come on here, promote themselves.
I would be so down. I think that would be really, really cool, because whenever other people are able to offer their perspective on things, it's just so cool to kind of pick their brain and see how they work, especially if they do something that's a good bit different than you. I've talked to you about comedy, and again, it's not something I'm necessarily cut out for, but I love talking to you about it. So if you're able to have other people on this podcast, bro, I totally encourage you to do so, because I think that would be some really, really good content that people would enjoy.
Oh, for sure. I think if I'm going to have more people on the podcast, though, I'm going to have to do a BYOM, bring your own mic.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I had to get that from, fun fact, I had to get that from Best Buy, but don't worry. It's going to be great for the job. I'm going to return it tomorrow to get my money back.
Exactly.
So shout out to Best Buy.
Shout out to Best Buy, not sponsored again, unlike you, Storage Crumble Cookie, and the other thing that we had determined that was
and please, Levi's. Come on, this dude literally wears Levi everything.
I have been begging for a sponsor for so long, and they have still just, man, I'm off their radar.
Come on, digital creator over here.
I've been giving them so much free advertisement.
Well, you should. You should create some digital thing about Levi's, and maybe
they'll see it.
Who knows?
Maybe they can see it.
Maybe you can be one of those guys that
one of those guys that makes it by that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So, where can the people find you at?
People can find me at a YouTube channel called Levitation. That's my personal YouTube channel. Quickest way of finding my channel, fun fact, and this is the way that I still find it, is to look up Chuck Norris versus John Cena sprite animation, and the one by Levitation is by me. It's got two little Chuck Norris and John Cena. It's a really, really cool animation. I made it back in 2017.
I watched
It's
that.
still my favorite one that I've ever made, just because it goes so hard.
Because when I first subscribed to your not your but your YouTube channel, that was one of the first things that I saw. I clicked on. It was great.
It's fun. It's so cool. But we got that. I'm also lead animator for a YouTube channel called Smash Bracket. That one's a lot easier to find. Again, it's just Smash Bracket on YouTube. If you want to watch Double Trouble, it's just called Double Trouble Hyun's Dojo, HYUNS Dojo. So Hyun's Dojo on there. That's the channel that I got it hosted on, and that would be my movie. But those are really the two main places you can find me. I'm most active on YouTube.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to cover, or anything else just to include here, other than just wherever everybody can find you?
Yeah, man, it's mainly just kind of where people can find me. You know, keep an eye out for things that I might be posting because I'll be advertising myself pretty regularly. You know, if we happen to make any more movies or anything, just keep an eye out, and we'll hopefully get some stuff out there soon for y'all to watch.
All right, well, man, I appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely.
Being on this podcast,
It's so
bro.
much
Like,
fun.
I'm so glad that we finally got to be able to like sit down with
now
each other.
It took us a while.
It really did
but
to
we
be
finally
on the same page, but like,
Yeah.
I really needed to do this before I went off to Phoenix.
Exactly.
Because you've been really wanting to get on this podcast.
Absolutely.
And I also just was like, you know what? I think this would be awesome just to kind of open this up. And I've wanted other people on this podcast, but I never really knew like how to do that. But other people's passions, definitely talking about that, dude. But hey, thank you for being on, bro.
Absolutely, man.
All right.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
All right, hey, crumble cookie, come
Absolutely.
on. Yes,
Let's
crumble
do
cookie.
it.
Let's do
All
this
right.
thing, man. Hey,
Sounds
thanks,
good.
bro.
Dawson Glehart podcast. You are listening to the last Glehart. You are listening to the last Glehart podcast.